Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining me today. My name is Tina, also known as Bloomingknitter. Yeah. Brain freeze! And this is Knitting Blooms. I am in a different spot this evening because I have boxes and bins and tables everywhere in my basement. And I don't have the best light because, honestly, I was just being a little lazy and I didn't feel like pulling out all of the lights. And my knitting today is not that exciting, so I figured it would work for this episode. So yeah, so the lighting's not the best. We don't have the nice bright lights, but again, knitting is not all that exciting, but I do have knitting to show you. And one of the main reasons I'm recording this week is because I have some big news to share with you. Tonight we actually dose-creased Sammy's insulin dose to 1 dose before 0. So once he gets past this dose, he will be at 0 and we can start our no insulin trial period, which is a 14-day trial where we just take tests. We just test him twice a day before meals just to see what his number is. And as long as he stays within the normal range during that time, we can say that we are insulin free. Technically, we'll already be insulin free, but we still need to do this 14-day trial before we can basically claim remission. And then at that point, we only have to test him about once a week, and then after a few months, we can go to once a month. But more than likely, I will probably stick with the every week testing, because really once a week testing is not that big of a deal. And if the sooner you can catch feline diabetes, the better it is, and the easier it is to treat. So I'm very excited about that. That means that if we do go to a off insulin trial before I leave for camp, Sammy will get to stay home with Steve, and Steve will just finish up the testing for the last few days, because I'm hoping that if we start the trial within the next few days, he'll only have maybe 4 or 5 days left of the trial that he has to test. And Steve has been learning how to test, so that has been a big help on me when we need to do a test here or there when I'm not around or what have you. So big news for that. We are on the last dose before 0. Excited about that. And like I said, so if that goes well, Sammy will not have to go to Knittopia with me, but we still have open spots for Knittopia. We did have a few last-minute cancellations, and that has opened up spots for the first weekend, which is April 16th through 19th. And if you have the ability to join us at Knittopia, again, the dates are April 16th through 19th, 2015. That is like in 15 days. Something like that. I am very excited about camp. I can't wait to go. I've already started packing and stuff. And as I already mentioned, my basement right now is full of boxes and bins, supplies for camp, my camp supplies, my chair, my lamp, and that sort of stuff. And then all the door prizes and goodie bag stuff that I need to get prepared in the next couple weeks. More than likely this weekend, most of that stuff is going to get organized and into the appropriate bins. And yeah, there's just a lot of stuff, which is why I'm here, because I would have to really kind of almost rearrange the entire basement to get to where I usually sit, which is across the way. And there's bins and boxes over there, and my chair is kind of pushed out of the way, and it just was easier to sit here, so that's what I did. So open spots. So again, if you are available, the price is 1:45 for the weekend, and if you have any questions and would like to come, just get in contact with me. Last time I recorded, which wasn't last week because I just did a book review last week, because last week I didn't have any special knitting or any real progress on anything last week. I mentioned that I really need to get back on my diet and get back to my steps. There have been a couple of times in the last week and a half to 2 weeks that I have gotten 10,000 steps, and I've gotten very close to 10,000 steps, but I'm still not doing it on a regular basis yet. I'm pretty much kind of giving myself a pass because of all the stuff I got to do for camp, and plus the new expansion pack came out for Sims 4. Really, I downloaded it on Tuesday, and I did not play at all on Tuesday, but I did play for a tiny bit last night. And I'm hoping to play a little bit tonight as well, but I might be knitting more tonight. So I don't know if I'll get to it tonight, but we'll see. What else? But I am going to get back to exercising regularly, if not before Knittopia, during Knittopia, and afterwards. Because honestly, being at Knittopia for a week and a half, there's no reason why I can't get 10,000 steps a day. Because honestly, if I sat for 15 to 20 hours, well, 15 hours or so a day, that's just too much. I need to get up and move. So more than likely, I will try and do a daily workout at Knittopia. Even if it's just going for a walk for an hour or something. Okay, so crap. I didn't bring all my stuff over here. What did I do with the stuff? Oh, it's because I packed it up already. Okay, hang on, because I have some finished objects here to show you, but I already packed up some of the other finished objects. So hang on 1 second while I go and grab them. Okay, so I was trying to be efficient, and I already packed up some stuff. Actually, I should have gotten the snuggles too. I did mention last week, or the last time I recorded, that I was doing snuggles on the knitting machine, and I had 2 more snuggle sets to finish up, which I did finish them up. I didn't grab those, but they're just squares. They're big squares. You'll see them when I actually finish them, because I still have to put the crochet trim around the edge, so you'll see them again, because right now they're just squares straight off the knitting machine. But I did finish some hand knit squares. I don't think I showed these to you last time. I think I started them after I recorded last. And the color is more of a tan. I think it's kind of showing up as like a gold on the camera. But like I said, not the best lighting today, but it is what it is. It kind of feels nice not to have to pull out all the lights. So I might occasionally do this again, because then it's less work. Because it does take me, in order to set the lights up and take them down and all of that, it takes a good half hour just for setup and tear down. And today I just kind of sat down and go. So that was kind of nice. Anyway, 3 completely finished squares. We are doing 9x9 squares for a charity blanket. We are just, whatever color, it doesn't matter, and we're just knitting them. I mean, I just knit them. We could do any pattern you like, but because my brain power is limited lately, I thought I'm just going to do regular garter stitch squares, 9x9. So what I did, because I'm working on the log cabin blanket, I'm using the same yarn for the squares as I did the log cabin blanket, so I just measured my gauge on the log cabin and said, okay, this is how many stitches I need, and this is how many rows, and that should be approximately 9 inches square, and it pretty much worked out exactly right. So 3 finished squares right here. Those ends are woven in. But I also did 2 more squares where I haven't woven in the ends. And I was just using bits and bobs of leftover yarn. I made a hat with this one. I made a hat with this one too. I don't remember if I showed. Oh, I think I did show you this. Yeah, this hat was the flower hat. I did show you that. And this hat was the hat that I was almost done with the last time I recorded. So I used up the rest of that yarn for those 2 squares, and it's the same yarn as this yarn. It's just that this one is the kind of the self-striping patterning kind of yarn. So I have a total of 5 squares here so far. I don't know how many squares other people are doing, but we will figure out how we're going to mix and match them and sew them together and make a nice Afghan or a blanket or something. It's all washable wool. We decided to use the Deborah Norville Everyday or the Karen Simply Soft yarn, and we're just going to kind of mix and match and make it work. In addition to these 5, I have started another one. I don't think I've gotten very far, no, with this bright, bright, bright pink. Now I have, I think, 9 skeins of this pink, and this pink is electric. Now on the camera, I am not seeing as bright as it is. I mean, it is some bright, bright yarn. It's called hot fuchsia, but honestly, it is electric fuchsia. And I think like I said, I think I have like 9 skeins, because originally I was going to make myself a log cabin blanket with this color, but then I found another pink that I liked better, and then I found an even better pink that I liked better, all within the Deborah Norville Everyday collection. And I think they just had come out with new colors, and that's why, because at the time I ordered my yarn, this was the only color that was even remotely appropriate. And then there was another color that I found that they came out with that I liked a little bit better. I'm pretty sure that I have bought 3 different pinks for this blanket. And I'm not making my blanket until I finish the blankets that I'm making for Christmas and another blanket or 2 for Sammy, because I have a lot of this yarn for blankets. But it is a fabulous yarn. So this, I've started another square, and I probably will take 1 or 2 more skeins of this electric pink with me to Knittopia to make some more squares as well. Possibly a hat. I haven't decided yet, but another square done. I'm trying to do a few more squares before camp and maybe even some more at camp. We'll have to see how many squares we get at camp and if we need more or what exactly. So let's see. In this bag I have my socks. I did not get much progress on my socks. Pretty much that sock. The second sock I didn't even work on at all. This sock I got that much done. That's it. Haven't worked too much on my socks this past week, mostly because I've been working on squares. They've been easy, and at work I've been working on the log cabin blanket, which I don't have here to show you today, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So yeah, I haven't been working on the socks all that much, but they're coming along. The other sock, like I said, I didn't even do anything. I didn't even put a new stitch marker in to mark where I was. So, and that is Spinning Fate socks, or yarn. It was one of their colorways for a special kit with Knitting's My Bag. They came out a few years ago, and this was the bag that came with it. Zooming right through this. Anyway, and then the next project that I started, which honestly I thought I was going to have completed more of, but I haven't finished. I haven't worked on it really in the last week. I don't know why, just haven't. But I started a Florida Memories hat, and this hat is by Kimberly, who is Sock Bunny. And you can't really see much right now because I haven't gotten very far on it, but there are some flamingos and some hearts, and I think it's going to be really cute. And I am making this for Halos of Hope again, and honestly I did this in a couple of hours and I probably could have finished it. I think I lost my brain power, and that's why I didn't finish the Fair Isle. I probably only have maybe 10 to 15 more rows of Fair Isle. But I lost my brain power, and I never got back to it. I thought if I could just get past the Fair Isle section, the stockinette section will be a breeze, and just didn't get back there. But it will be done. I'm sure I will get this done this week, without a doubt. So that is Florida Memories by Kimberly Sock Bunny. And maybe even start a second hat. I'm not sure, because I do have enough yarn for 2 hats. This is actually Cascade 220 Superwash that I had on hand. And I thought the colors would go good. It's like a purpley mauve and a pink. I don't know if the camera is really showing that up very well. So that's my knitting. Honestly, that was really quick. What else? So I said I was working on the log cabin blanket, and I did not bring it home for you today because I'm working on it at work, and it's just easier just to leave it there. Whenever I need more yarn, I just take more yarn with me. I am on block number 9. I do have a picture of the blanket through block number 8. I cast on block number 9 today, and block number 9 is the first block that has 2 colors. And I really like how it's coming along so far. I think maybe I got 3 or 4 ridges done on block number 9. And I did notice this is a free pattern. I am doing the Modern Log Cabin Baby Blanket is what I'm doing. And I did notice that there is some errata in the pattern. If you go to Modern Log Cabin Baby Blanket, there's a free PDF. The PDF is wrong. If you go to the errata is still wrong, at least as far as I could tell. I mean, I had way more stitches than what they said. They were saying it was supposed to be 108 stitches, and in the pattern it says 108. You have to do 54 stitches of each color, and then you have 108. In the errata, it says you do 63 and 54 stitches, but it still says 108, but that's 117. But I found that it's actually 127 stitches. So then I just kind of decided, okay, where do I want my one color to stop and the other color to start? I just fudged it, because honestly, it's not that big of a deal where the color, how many stitches of one color versus how many stitches of the other, and you pick up stitches at the end of every ridge. So it's not like I'm going to pick up 108 stitches when there's really supposed to be 127 stitches. So I'm not sure why that has not been updated. I know that there is a lot of blankets. I'm guessing, I haven't really looked, but I'm guessing there's probably well over a few hundred blankets, and wouldn't somebody point that out? Now, I haven't actually looked at it, at the pattern in the Mason-Dixon book, because the pattern actually is in the Mason-Dixon book, but I don't know if it's correct in that book. I have that book, I just haven't looked at it. I went to the pattern and I saw that they had a free PDF download, and I'm like, oh, that's so much simpler than having to pull out the book and scan the page and put it in Knit Companion, what have you. I just printed out the PDF. It's a 1-page document. But block number 9 is incorrect, just so you know, if you're doing that blanket. It's a great pattern, and you could probably figure it out that it's not going to work out right, but just so you know. So I am on block number 9. I'm hoping to get through this block in the next week or so, but I am planning on taking that blanket with me to Knitopia if I don't finish it. I seriously don't think I'm going to get through block number 10, because I don't know how many ridges. I think block number 10 is 18 ridges. Block number 9 I think is 54 ridges, and I think block number 10 is 18 ridges. But I might make it a little bit wider. It depends on how wide it is and if I like that width. I am doing a baby blanket, the baby blanket pattern, but I'm using worsted weight yarn and larger needles, so it's going to be a little bit larger than the actual baby blanket, which I think is like 36 by 40 or something thereabout. So it's going to be a little bit larger than that, but I'm just expecting it to be kind of like a lap blanket, you know, a small lap blanket to put over your legs or something while you're sitting on the couch. That's my idea. So that has been going on. If I do finish that before I go to camp, which honestly I highly doubt it, I will take the second blanket with me to camp to get started. But more than likely, I'm just going to take that blanket and finish that up at camp if I'm not done with that one. My sock yarn blanket, we are in April, and I only got like 1.5 squares done in March. Pitiful. Absolutely pitiful. I think it's only 1.5 squares. So I'm going to have to really work hard to get my squares done in April, but honestly, I don't think it's going to be a problem at all because I will be going to camp. I will take my sock yarn blanket with me, and I will just plan on doing at least 1 square every day. It takes me maybe 45 minutes to do a square, including weaving in ends, if I weave in the ends. Now, I think I have like 3 rows of ends to weave in, so I might plan on doing that at camp to weave in all those ends. But if I did a square a day at camp, I would be caught up for March and April and be good. But that is coming with me to camp. My Spinning Fate socks are coming with me to camp if I don't finish those. The Knit Squirrel, my Perfect Plum that hasn't been worked on in weeks, is coming with me to camp. Never Shall Meet shawl is coming with me to camp. I actually saw Kimberly's Never Shall Meet shawl on her podcast. I think this was her podcast from a couple weeks ago, but I just watched it this week, and it really made me want to finish my shawl up because it looked beautiful. I might take yarn for preemie hats to camp. I don't know yet. Ecuador is definitely going with me to camp. I'm hoping this weekend I can get it frogged and rewound and soak the yarn so that I can take it with me to camp and get it restarted. Because if I wait to go to camp to frog it, then I have to soak it, and then it has to dry, and I probably won't be able to work on it at camp if I want to do that. So I'm probably going to try and just hand wind the yarn to frog it, you know, wind this ball, you know, by hand, 2 rows and then 2 rows and then 2 rows. You know, it's going to take forever, and maybe I can get Steve to help me. I don't know. But then I have to wind it on my Nitty Knotty so that I can soak it. And I do that with everything. Whenever I unwind or I frog a project, I always re-soak the yarn to relax the yarn so it's not stretched out. Although this yarn is not likely to be stretched out, even though it has been knitted, because it is very springy yarn, but I'm still going to do it anyway. I have not worked on Steve's felted clogs at all, and I really would like to take those with me to camp to felt. So if I don't finish them before I leave for camp, those are probably going to go with me as well, along with the 3 other pairs that I have that need to be felted. So hopefully I can felt those at camp. It's extra stuff for me to bring with me to camp, but it'll be so much easier for me to felt at camp than at home. And I will also be bringing my fall mystery shawl with me to camp. I think I only have like 1, 2, maybe 2.5 charts to go on that shawl, and I'll be done. Spinning, I haven't really worked on my Wool Gatherings merino silk on my Golding spindle. I have had that at the office. I haven't been working on that this week. However, I have been working on my Polwear silk, and I'm going to reach because I didn't pull this close enough. And hang on, let me unplug it because I've got it. I'm just going to show you my mini spinner because it's really pretty. But I have been working on this. I have 2 colors left in my braid. I am spinning it straight out of the braid because it is kind of like a gradient. And right now, because I'm kind of transitioning colors, it looks really cool on the bobbin. Hopefully there's enough light and we can focus. Hang on, let me get a little bit closer. I don't know, the light might not be that great today, but it's really, really beautiful. I'm enjoying spinning it, and the reason I've made progress on this is because I have kept it right by my chair, and whenever I need something just for a few minutes to work on, I just flip on the switch and work on it, because sometimes I sit down and I only have 10 or 15 minutes, and you can't get much knitting done in 10 or 15 minutes, but you can make a reasonable amount of progress on spinning in 10 or 15 minutes. Well, maybe not a reasonable amount of progress, but you feel like you're making progress because it's a little easier to do in 15 minutes. So yeah, spinning progress is good. As much progress as I have made on this fiber, there is a possibility I might finish it before I leave for camp. So then I have to pick out something next to spin, which I will definitely be taking with me to camp because I love to spin at camp. And I will definitely be taking my e-spinner with me. So we'll see how close I get to finishing it. I will need to ply it, but it will need to rest for a few days. So I don't know if that will get done at camp or not. And I haven't totally decided if I'm going to do a 3-ply chain ply or if I'm going to do a 2-ply and ply it end to end. More than likely it will be a chain ply. We'll have to see. But I will probably have to pick something else out to take with me to camp just in case I finish that. What else? I was going to do drawings today for Knit Your Stash, but I just thought, you know what, I just don't want to deal with having to send prizes or for people to have to wait because of camp and so forth. So I decided I'm not going to draw prizes this month, but next month at the end of, well, it actually will be, well, it might be the end of April. When I get back from camp, well, I probably will do it the first time I record in May, because when I get back from camp, my episode when I get back from camp will probably be a camp recap, and I probably won't do drawings during that episode. So it'll be the next episode after the camp recap that I do drawings for both March and April for Knit Your Stash. We'll do 2 of both. We'll do 2 from the finished object and 2 from the chatter thread, since I'm skipping March. What else? So that's about it. We have Knit Your Stash going on. Oh, and I'll do a square week drawing as well for both months when I do that in May. So we have the square week cow. We have the Knit Your Stash going on. In June, we're going to have Charity June. You got plenty of time to get prepared, get your yarns all set up and ready. And it can be any charity project you like. It can be squares, it can be snuggles, it can be whatever, hats. It can be whatever charity project you want to make during June. And that's about it. I'm still really going to try to get some tutorials done up. I pulled out my notes for my entrelac, and if I am motivated this weekend, I'm hoping to possibly record 2 tutorials. I have all my notes. I mean, literally, I have to write the rest of the pattern for the last tier, the cast-off tier, and I'm done. I really do not have that much more to go. So if I can get the cast-off tier, the notes written for the cast-off tier for the pattern, and then review my notes again, then I can record the tutorial, because honestly, I have all the information that I need to do the tutorial. I just need to do it. So I'm going to try and get that done this weekend, so I will have a couple episodes to post for you while I'm away at camp. I will be leaving on April 15th on tax day to go to camp. So I won't have an episode that week or the following week. So I will try and have the episodes pre-posted on YouTube so that you'll get them while I'm away. Now, I'm not exactly sure how it will work for iTunes. I might just have it uploaded and then try and do it all on my phone. Well, we'll see. It might only be on YouTube until I get home. But I think you guys will survive. I hope so anyway. And I am going to try and do some updates from camp as well. I don't know what I'm going to do or if I'm going to be able to do it and how much it's going to be or any of that. But I'm going to attempt it. I did upgrade my plan on my phone so that I can use my phone as a hotspot and I can potentially upload from my computer. Again, I don't know if it's going to happen. And if I do little snippets, they're not going to be very, very long because I don't want to use a lot of data. And a half-hour episode is like 200 gig. Not 200 gig, 200 meg. And really that wouldn't be that much if I uploaded it, but it would take forever on 4G. So that's the plan. That's the plan so far. So let's see. We'll have one more episode next week. Oh my gosh. Camp is so close. So close. I am very excited about going. I'm so excited about hanging out with everybody for a week and a half and just really relaxing and getting a lot of knitting done. So again, if you have the ability to join us at Knitopia, please get in contact with me as soon as possible so we can get you all the information that you need in order to join us. And I think that's about it. I will talk to you next week. Hopefully, I will talk to you next week as long as everything goes well. And I don't know how much I'll have to show you next week, but we'll see. Maybe I'll just give you another camp update. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to talk to you next week. Bye for now.
As always, thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Please feel free to contact me with your comments or suggestions, as I am always trying to improve the show. You can find me on Ravelry, Instagram, and YouTube as Bloomingknitter. You can also find me on Plurk, Twitter, and Pinterest as Bloomingknitter, but I don't frequent those sites as often. I post show updates on Twitter and Facebook, and sometimes to Google Plus and Plurk. I am Miss Aerobics on MyFitnessPal and Fitbit. You can always find all the old episodes as well as links to the tutorials on the blog at www.knittingblooms.com. And you can also follow the show on Facebook. You can email me at knittingblooms@gmail.com, and show notes can be found at knittingblooms.com.